Hello guys, I am redrawing my leader mural for Duskstar. And this will also be an explanation to his lore. So, it all started when he was born, as all stories start. He was born to Pigeon Star of Swamp Clan. And around that time, his dad kind of died from rabies, so yeah, he's been fatherless. But from kithood, he had one friend, Marigold Kit, and they trained in the dark forest together, which he also met. Which, when he became an apprentice, he was apprenticed to a cat named Eelfang. Eelfang tried to keep up with him, but the dark forest training was making him very, very violent in action. And in the dark forest, he was trained by Tyrant, the former leader of Swamp Clan who died trying to burn it down, as well as his grandmother Thistlewing who helped in the attempted arson. So he had very not great influences. Although he also met this cat, Dragonpaw, who was a Marble Clan apprentice. They became friends, and Duskstar Duskpaw at that time formed a crush on him. Dragonpaw didn't really like him that way, though, and was going after another apprentice, Reedpaw. But yeah, they stayed friends. Eventually, Duskpaw became a warrior, Dusksite. which Dragon Paw would become Dragon Wing, and Marigold Paw became Marigold Pelt. So yeah, the trio were all warriors. Duskstar would be very problematic on patrols, starting fights, which irritated Pigeon Star. Unfortunately, he had no respect for her and would not listen to the fact that the fights were causing harm. And he also never fully stopped liking Dragon Paw, but met a rogue named Mist who he fell for pretty quickly. So he convinced Mist to join him in Swamp Clan, where she became Miss Leap. And Miss Leap knew he was violent, but she liked him for that, for some reason. And around the time Miss Leap would become pregnant with Dusksight's kids. But Dusksight was born in Swamp Clan and was being encouraged by the Dark Forest to try and take over another clan, so he gathered a group of cats to go become a dictator, as one does. One of these cats would be Kaiman Thorn, who became his untrained medicine cat. So yeah, a group of cats would burst into Cloud Clan camp after killing a pregnant queen, and and they'd start trouble. Fighting and eventually killing the leader at the time, Patchstar. So yeah, Duskstar got to become leader and imprisoned any cat that did not want him there. Because of course they did not want him there. And he got his 9 lives from the Dark Forest. 'Cause StarClan was like, oh, fuck no, buddy, you're not getting those lives. And Duskstar and Miss Sleep's first litter ended up all kind of dying, which was unfortunate. But they had a second litter, which turned out okay. And Miss Sleep would try to teach her kids to be like Duskstar, who at the time was killing babies in ceremonies. Yeah, what a great guy. And eventually, Duskstar would meet this guy, Oleander, who was possessed by something called the Wraith. And Oleander was like, hey, wanna be allies? And Duskstar accepted. So yeah. Now there were 2 evil guys ruling Cloud Clan. Great for everyone. And Cloud Clan would have regular executions, 'cause, yeah, Duskstar was a bad guy. Very bad. And when it came to prisoners, he'd break them by making them eat our cats that were killed. And he also let Oleander eat some people. And yeah, he'd let Oleander and a group called the Doers stay in his camp, as well as allow the Wraith to possess a couple of his own clan. And he'd also start problems with Swamp Clan specifically. Leading to the death of multiple cats. Oh yeah, and they'd also kidnap children to train them to be loyal members of Cloud Clan, which one of them, Wolf Kit, later named Wolf Song, became Duskstar's apprentice, which, yeah, he also pulled a broken star. And he tried to train Wolf Song to be violent, but she'd eventually have enough and run away. Good for her. So Duskstar would get another apprentice, who later became Rowantail, his deputy. He'd make sure she'd stay loyal to him. And even encourage her to be willing to die for him. So yeah, real bad guy who enjoyed the power he had. So yeah, Cloud Clan as well as the Doers would grow in power. Luckily, Duskstar was already down to a few lives, because it turns out being violent is bound to get you killed a lot. Yeah, and there's a context behind this mural. Basically, Cloud Clan has a tradition where the medicine cat will paint portraits of their leaders. So in lore, this was drawn on a tree by Kaiman Thorn.
I feel like on the chain, this is kind of being a focal point. So should this bear be here and this bear be like between these two, so that way it's not so far up by the class itself.
Cloud Clan and the Doers would start having problems because war was coming. Da-na-na-na. Dun, dun, dun. Which their army consisted of very unstable cats who were getting tired of the leadership, literal babies. And just generally cats who were too afraid to go against them. Duskstar's current apprentice, Weaselpaw, as well as his former apprentice, Rowan Tail, would die in war, so as to make sure he'd have a deputy for his clan in the middle of war, Duskstar made Coldpelt the deputy. which I forgot to mention this, but currently he has not really any friends, because Dragonwing is more interested in having a lot of mates, and he had a falling out with Marigold Pelt when she realized how violent he was becoming. But Miss Sleep still loved him and encouraged him. In war, Duskstar would face his mother, Pigeonstar, and, well, he'd get her cornered on a ledge. He'd knock her down, but in a moment of pride, he miscalculated and ended up falling to his death with her. So yeah, ding dong, the witch is dead. Of course, he'd go to the Dark Forest for all his crimes. And in that same battle, Oleander would also die. So, yeah, Cloud Clan was free. Good for them. And Miss Sleep would be imprisoned for the fact that she was a major supporter of Duskstar. So yeah, that's just the rough lore. So there's the redraw. I hope you all enjoyed getting to hear some lore.